Dr. Ted here, and welcome to the channel. And on this channel we deal with mental health issues and personal development. For many of us, we go through many ups and downs in life. Life can throw at us many challenges that can really knock us down. You lose your job, a relationship comes apart, health problems. It can be endless, and that brings in a lot of people to counseling, a lot of things that I see that people are just dealing with. And I kind of see that there's a process that they go through. And I want to share with you this process, basically 5 steps. And that can allow you to see how things are going for you and to see that it is a process that you have to go through. And also, I want to share at the end 4 tips that can allow you to see how you can move forward in life, to move beyond it. Move beyond the challenges that you are dealing with, that you're suffering with. So in this video, it's going to be quite an interesting one, and I think really beneficial for many people out there, because all of us are enduring problems, enduring challenges. How can we navigate them? In looking at problems, the grief cycle can be very beneficial. Now, it describes the emotions, the responses that people go through when there is a loss. It can really be beneficial in seeing how people navigate through loss, through, you could say, suffering of the loss. Now, there's 5 stages. First stage, denial. Now, in this initial stage, the person just feels that they can't accept it, right? It's a bad dream. This is not true. This didn't happen. My mother didn't pass away. I didn't really lose my job. They're just gonna, they're just reshuffling. They're gonna come back to me tomorrow. The relationship didn't end. So people kind of deal with this denial where it's just having a hard time dealing with it. Now, denial can turn into anger. Once denial kind of, you could say, wears off, the pain comes in, right? The pain of the loss. And that can lead to a lot of frustration, helplessness, anger, that the people are just upset. I am going to lose my job. What am I going to do now, right? What am I going to do? The relationship is over. I've invested all this time, these years, and it's over? So people really kind of go through that. Now that leads to bargaining. So how could we have done things differently to prevent the loss? The what if thinking comes in. Well, what if I could have done this? Now that can also lead to the next stage, depression. When people come to the realization that the loss is real and there's really not much that can be done, they can get depressed, and they can have a lot of, again, sadness, regret, fear, uncertainty, and all these things kind of wind together to really kind of, you could say, put the person into a real depressed state where they kind of feel hopeless. Now this can lead to the next stage, the last stage, acceptance. Now acceptance is basically coming to terms with the loss. I understand now that this relationship is over. I understand the job is done. I don't have a job starting next week. That's something I have to deal with. And how do we kind of move forward, right? How do we move forward from this? So those are like the stages. Now those stages, the person doesn't really follow them like, A, B, C as what I outlined. Here they can go back and forth with different stages, but those are some of the common stages that people can deal with when dealing with loss. And again, loss can be varied, as I said earlier, the job, somebody passing away. Well, you could say this cycle kind of depends on the person, right? And who they are. So depends on the situation. Now, how do we move beyond acceptance? Okay, I've accepted this. What do I do now, right? What do I do now? And this is an interesting place to be because it can really lead to that personal development. For example, you lost a job, but maybe that job wasn't really what you wanted. Maybe you've heard yourself complaining quite a bit to other people. Maybe other people were reflecting too. Well, so-and-so, you've been complaining for years about this job. Now you're going to lose it. Is that an opportunity for you to move forward out of your comfort zone? Perhaps you were in a comfort zone. Perhaps you were in a comfort zone in your relationship. And now the ending of it allows you to move forward to other things. So trying to reframe things, that we go beyond kind of acceptance and kind of see new things that are coming ahead that can maybe make us more of a better person, to allow us to progress. That's what I want to kind of get into now, my 4 steps on how people move forward, how they recondition the mind. And we need to recondition our mind because our mind is very conditioned based on a number of different things. The culture you grew up in, you just work in the same job, for example, that could be something. Maybe your family conditioning. Well, no, you hang on to your relationship until death, but at the same time you're kind of maybe perhaps dying inside that this relationship isn't working and you're really suffering. People, your friends saying, you should be just doing this, come on, continue doing this. So again, there's a lot of things that kind of condition your mind to make you think a certain way, and we have to kind of, you could say, move beyond that. And here's my tips. What is it that you want? Have you investigated this? Ask yourself this question. If we had a miracle, any miracle, and you woke up tomorrow morning, what would your life look like? What would be the ideal life if this miracle happened? So something to think about. What would my ideal life look like if I had this miracle? So, number 2, what are you doing today that reinforces your lack of movement to go forward? As I hinted at earlier, is there kind of self-talk going on? Something that maybe you learned from somewhere else. For example, I'm not smart enough. Going to the university to take the course, maybe I didn't do well in the high school, and I can't do that. I just not a good student. So the past equals the future? Is that what you're saying? That's impossible. I can't do that. I'm sure they said it was impossible when they maybe went to the moon, right? That's impossible. They did it. And I've heard this expression before, everything's impossible until somebody does it. Sounds fair, right? Because a lot of things that we've accomplished in this day and age, that's impossible. How could we do that? So just really write out what these things are that maybe are limiting you. Write out these beliefs. Write them out. What evidence is there really to confirm that yes, I am not intelligent. I can't do this, I can't do that. Is there real evidence for that? Is there? So is this really something for you to investigate? Because these beliefs can really hold us down in preventing us. So the past is the past. The future, we don't really know. All we really have is the present. So really kind of focusing on the here and now and what do we want now? And kind of allowing us to kind of use that as a guide to move forward. Taking action daily. This is something I can't stress enough. We're kind of absorbing a lot of things, maybe going on YouTube, watching such videos as this, and getting ideas, but what are you doing daily to create things for you, to manifest things for you? Are you telling people, for example, that these are your goals, which can be quite powerful? Yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And that's kind of good in a way because you start becoming held accountable for things, right? People are maybe, okay, well, you said this to me, John. What are you doing to realize that? You've been talking about that. So really taking action daily. Okay, I'm gonna let people know I'm going to start maybe, for example, looking on websites that can provide me a new job. I'm going to look at training sites. I'm going to maybe try to get out, meet some new people. I'm going to make an effort to engage people in conversation. Just that I'm doing something daily to envision this kind of new me. Very important, right? I mean, if you're kind of, for example, even if you're bored in life, but you're doing the same street, you're walking down the same street, can you walk a different street, right? Can you walk a different way? Can you do something different that gets you out of the norm? So kind of really taking action daily to move forward and being uncomfortable in moving forward, because if you're so used to a routine, it can be challenging. And lastly, kind of envisioning that new you, really kind of thinking beyond, right? The scope, beyond. We want to think beyond where we are now, outside the box, that expression also. And kind of, what do you want? And that can become as goals, writing your goals. But where can you see yourself? You know, how can you see yourself as what? As this kind of person, this kind of achievement, and really kind of thinking that, you know, what can I be? What can my new me be like? And really kind of envisioning that. And that can also be writing out what that is. Just kind of thinking about that. Where do I want to be? You know, what do I want to achieve? And really kind of doing some hard investigative thinking about that. So, ending off. Things, you could say, start with the mind and the self. So kind of condition your mind to create a new self with some of the tips that I've offered in this video. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it useful, please give me a like, and please share it with somebody who could use it, because I know there's a lot of people frustrated in their life. How can people move forward? Again, they're going through loss, going through pain, seeing the kind of steps that they're going through. Okay, these are steps, but how do we move beyond that? Because loss and pain are part of life. So how do we navigate it better? How can we work with this mind to create a new self, to move forward? So again, wishing you, as always, the best mental health wherever you are in this big world. And until the next video, take care.